And welcome everyone to this week's Gold and Silver Club end of week review for the 16th of May 2014, presented by myself, Phil Carr, and Nick Kalsi at the Gold and Silver Club. Today, we will be reviewing the latest developments in the commodities markets. We'll be analysing the week's performance. The live session will cover an end of week summary for commodities, gold, silver, oil, natural gas, coffee. We'll be looking at the top trade of the week. We'll be covering live market commentary and technical analysis. We'll look at the week ahead. So the key events looking forward, the 6 major news announcements which will affect the commodities markets this week. And of course, we'll be answering any questions you may have too. So before we do so, the major moves this week really have been gold price falling on upbeat US news and data, and coffee soaring on weak harvest. So gold prices ended the US trading session lower on Thursday, selling off in the aftermath of some of the stronger than expected US economic data. The US economic reports on Thursday saw much of the data favour an upbeat mood of the US dollar, which trades inversely to gold. So economic reports included a drop in weekly jobless claims, falling to a 7-year low, an upbeat Empire State Manufacturing Survey, and a tame US Consumer Price Index, all putting downward pressure on the precious metal. We'll look at that very shortly on the charts. In other commodities markets, coffee, actually, the prices soared after Brazil announced the recent drought hit coffee crops severely, resulting in a weaker harvest this year. So high demand, low supply simply pushed coffee prices up 6.8% on Thursday to trade at 197.75 cents a pound during the New York trading session. So rains in December were followed by a long and severe drought during the first quarter of 2014. So throughout Brazil, the lack of rain and high temperatures caused serious damage. Roughly 30% of Brazil coffee crops are wiped out in what has been described as Brazil's worst drought in 30 years. So the lack of rainfall has possibly compromised even 2015 crop production as well, which means next year's harvest could see further declines. Coffee prices have now gained more than 60% year to date in 2014 so far. Based on the fundamentals, the coffee rally could still have much further to go. We'll take a look at that today. Coffee had a very large surge yesterday on this fundamental news. So we'll take a look at that as well as the metals too. Before we do so, I'm Phil Carr, professional trader, trainer and speaker. I'm the co-founder and director of the Gold and Silver Club. I specialize in teaching people how to make money from trading the most lucrative financial markets in the world: gold, silver, oil, natural gas, commodities. I've trained thousands of individuals to become independent traders and successfully manage their own investment portfolio. Also responsible for the research and development of the Gold and Silver Club trademark strategies that have a proven track record of generating returns for traders. Also a regular contributor to a number of financial publications and speak at numerous trading seminars, webinars and workshops. Also joining me in running the Gold and Silver Club is Nick Kalsi, professional trader, investment analyst and speaker. Nick began his career within private wealth management in 2002 before making the transition into proprietary trading. And prior to co-founding the Gold and Silver Club, spent over 5 years coaching professional fund managers and traders internationally for some of the world's top-tier hedge funds and investment banks. And through his first-hand relationship with some of the world's most successful traders, discovered the formula, mindset, and tools that can give any individual the definitive edge to trade in any economy. Also regularly writes for a number of global business and financial publications who've appeared frequently on financial television. So that's a bit of background on the Gold and Silver Club for everybody. We'll take a look at the gold price. In fact, we'll have a look at that right now, trading at $1,294 an ounce. So a little bit down on the weekly highs here. We'll take a look at the technicals very shortly. Before we do so, the top trade of the week this week using the Gold and Silver Club signature trading strategies was actually a trade that we were looking at last Friday on the webinar that we discussed. So this was on natural gas, and it ended up delivering a beautiful trade. So the risk on this trade was 100 points, so $1,000 risk for each lot traded, and we came all the way down, hit our profit target and more, 325 points we've delivered on this trade. So each lot traded $3,250 profit for a lovely 3-to-1. So we hope some of you caught that trade last week after the analysis that we looked at. So moving on to, I should say natural gas, not gold up there. And moving on, we'll take a look at the live market technical analysis. So we'll just go into the charts and we'll see really what we can expect in the week ahead here as well. So bear with me as I just flip my screens and we can take a look at the technicals. We'll look at the energies, we'll look at agriculture, and we'll also look at the precious metals. Okay, we'll start off with the US dollar index. So let's just get that onto the screens for you. Oh, okay, perfect. So at the moment, here is the US dollar index we've got on the chart right now. We've had certainly over this week quite a big surge on the US dollar index, and we can see we've come up to hit a major Fibonacci level and also a trend line at the moment on the US dollar index. Got a very clear trend channel here. So what we're very interested in now, because we do see the gold market move inversely to the US dollar here, we're wondering, are we going to be looking out for whether we're going to get a break above this week's resistance here, or whether we're going to get a reversal and come back down to the lower end of the trend channel. So if we get a move like this, we come back down and we reverse back to the May lows here, this will put some support for gold, and we should see gold find support and move to the upside. However, if the US dollar index now breaks out and we get above, you can see the resistance here and the trend channel, if we can get a clear breakout here and we can start really surging up to the next key levels above, this we could see put pressure on the gold and silver market, and we would see a sell-off. So we're watching these levels closely. We're pretty near key resistance levels right now on the US dollar index. So I would keep an eye out for that. It will be moving inversely to gold and silver. Also, if we take a look, we'll just take a quick look also at Australian US dollar, which also strongly correlates to the gold market. If we take a look on the daily, there's a very clear trend channel here, which we've also got an upward trending channel, which we've got a little bit of a bounce off just this morning. I would keep an eye on this as well. You can see the bounce that we're getting just at the moment around some key levels. If we look on the 4 hour also, we're getting some bounces here, but keep an eye on this correlation that we're getting with the Australian US dollar. We'll move over to gold now, and on the gold market, gold is still forming a pennant. We've got quite a lot of pressure here building up on gold. It's still just ricocheting between key support and resistance levels here. We can see we are just moving really between the 1280 to 1300s here. We're just bouncing up and down at the moment. The pressure is becoming more and more. We're seeing less volatility. We are really looking for a breakout in either direction now. So either a breakout to the upside, which I would see the US dollar index tanking and selling off, so we get a breakout, or we'd be expecting the US dollar here to break out to the upside and put pressure on gold. So you've got some key levels we can really see here. I'll just drag this down a little bit where the pressure is forming between support and resistance. So eventually this is going to get resolved. We are going to see here gold break out either to the upside, or we're going to get a sell-off and we're going to break out for a sell short. So this is one market to definitely keep an eye on. If we take a look at silver at the moment, we do have a bit of a reversal pattern, V-shaped reversal here. Just this morning, we are getting a bit of a bounce this morning on the markets for silver, similar to gold at the moment, a little bit stuck. We've got a clear downward trending channel here on the silver market too, although we've got a bit of a reversal pattern here possibly, but we can see we've got fairly clear downward trend that silver needs to break through as well. So for the time being, we are not able just to silver and gold to continue to consolidate. Silver really needs to get a breakout, clean breakout above the $20 an ounce at the moment to get more upside momentum here. Otherwise, we're looking to take out the April lows here, the 2014 lows, in order to get a further move lower here on the silver market. Copper's been very good actually this week. Copper, we remain within a very clear trending channel on copper as well. We've got this upward trending channel. We bottomed out around mid-March. We continue just to consolidate. We continue to just get high highs and high lows here. We're right at the top of this trend channel at the moment. We're interested to see whether we're going to get a reversal on copper, come back down and test the lower end of the channel and just continue to consolidate upwards within this channel, or whether we can see a breakout here on copper and whether we're going to break out of resistance here and break out to the upside next key levels above. So that's what we're looking out for on the copper market at the moment. As mentioned with coffee, we had a lovely move yesterday. We had a really nice bounce. You can see this big surge on the coffee market yesterday. In fact, I'll just zoom out a little bit here for you, and we can take a little bit of a closer look at that. So this is the bounce that we got this week. And we saw that huge surge yesterday on fundamental news, as explained at the beginning of the webinar. If we go on the 4 hour at the moment, you can see we're coming up to a little bit of resistance here and interested to see whether we're going to get a pullback or whether we're just going to continue the momentum to the upside here. So overall, 60% gain on coffee so far in 2014 has been very good. It's been a tremendous move. You know, we do have some trend lines here as well, which I would be keeping an eye on if we just continue to find support here, and we can see whether we're going to break out to 2014 highs above 216 here in the coming weeks. Very interested in that. We take a look at wheat and corn. Wheat and corn have had a little bit of a pullback recently. We did pull back earlier on this week, and we have had, certainly yesterday, a nice break of a key level. We've come down, found a little bit of support this morning, and we really want to see whether we're going to hold on to support or break down lower. We have started to cross through some key moving averages, which would indicate we may be due a little bit of a further pullback. You can see the next major support around 477 here, but we'll be keeping an eye on that at the moment and see if we are going to find support at the current prices. As we go into wheat, very strongly correlated to corn as well. There is quite a strong upward trend here with both the wheat and the corn market. You can actually see there quite clearly 1, 2, 3 bounces here where the market is finding some support right now on the wheat market. We have had quite a significant pullback during the heights of the Ukraine-Russia conflict we've had recently. We have seen both corn and wheat do very well off that in terms of breakouts to the upside as a bit of a safe haven buy, and also Ukraine being one of the third biggest exporter of corn and wheat in the world. So anytime we do get additional tensions coming out of Ukraine and Russia, we do tend to see breakouts to the upside. So that's something to be mindful of. But for the time being, we're getting a little bit of a pullback on both wheat and corn. If we go over to the energies, yesterday we did get a spike on natural gas inventories, which came out. We saw a nice a bullish move on that. This has been our top trade of the week so far. We've got a tremendous move, both if we go out to the major levels really got broken here, 4.700. We had a tremendous sell over the last week or so, been able to capitalize on that. We did discuss that on last Friday's call as well. And we're finding a little bit of support at the moment. The overall trend is down right now. We're looking really to see if any further rallies are going to just be sold into at the moment. Probably got some short covering yesterday as we got that bounce on the natural gas storage inventories. But overall, natural gas is in bearish mode right now. If we take a look at WTI and also Brent crude oil, WTI at the moment do have that V-shaped reversal as well. We are just consolidating a little bit around the recent highs. We did break above the weekly highs here at 102.21. Got a breakout, and now we're just consolidating just around the lower end of this trend channel, which we've got. You can just move the trend ever so slightly here. So I'll be looking for potential breakouts as we go into next week here. If we do break through the trend channel and some supportive levels here, I'll be looking for a retest around the 99 level here. If we can get a breakout above the weekly highs here, I'll be looking for a nice solid move about 150 to 200 points higher. So I'm going to be looking out for that on WTI, on the light sweet crude oil. Also, if we go over to Brent crude oil actually faring a little bit better here this morning. We've got potentially another run up for a break above the weekly highs here. So we could get a break above 109.63, which is the weekly high from yesterday. Very interesting to see if that will occur. We're getting a nicer move here actually on Brent, bit of a stronger move here than we are. You can see it's just moving at the moment this morning than we are on the WTI crude oil market. So I'll be looking for a potential breakout here again of 109.45 and see if we can get some momentum behind that and get a breakout to the upside. So plenty for us to be looking at today. And especially as we go into next week, we've got some very interesting setups which are starting to develop. So what we'll do, we'll just take it back and we'll take a look at the presentation. We'll have a look at the 6 major news announcements which are going to affect the commodities markets as we go into next week. Okay, so the key announcements we need to look out for. Today we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment. That's at 2:55 p.m. GMT and 9:55 EST. The Michigan Consumer Sentiment is the index rating the relative level of current and future economic conditions. There are 2 versions of this data released 2 weeks apart. The preliminary data tends to have a greater impact. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish, which will inversely affect gold and silver. Wednesday, 21st of May at 3:30 p.m. GMT, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US crude oil inventories. That data reports the number of barrels of crude oil commercial firms have in inventory. Commercial firms report those inventory levels to the Energy Information Administration on a weekly basis. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for crude oil, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. So that is definitely one to look out for your oil and energies trading. Next Thursday, 22nd of May at 2:45 BST, 9:45 Eastern Time, we have the Chinese HSB manufacturing PMI. So that is a leading indicator for the whole economy. When the PMI is below 50, indicates the manufacturing economy is declining, and a value above 50 indicates expansion. So China is, of course, a big buyer of gold, silver, copper, and oil. A stronger than expected number should be taken as positive for the market and energies, and a lower than expected number should be taken as negative. Also, next Thursday, 22nd of May at 3 p.m. BST and 10 a.m. Eastern Time, you've got the US existing home sales. That existing home sales measures the change in the annualized number of the existing residential buildings that were sold during the previous month. That report is a key indicator of overall economic growth. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar. Next Thursday, 22nd of May at 3:30 p.m. BST, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US natural gas storage inventory. So the Energy Information Administration, the EIA, natural gas storage report measures the change in the number of cubic feet of natural gas held in underground storage during the past week. So whilst that is a US indicator, it does also tend to have a big impact on the Canadian dollar due to Canada's sizable energy sector. And then next Friday, the 23rd of May, 3 p.m. GMT, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we've got the US new home sales. That measures the annualized number of family homes that was sold during the previous month. So that report tends to have more impact when it's released alongside existing home sales because the reports are tightly correlated. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar, which will inversely affect gold and silver. So those are really the 6 key news announcements we need to look out for in the week ahead for the commodities. And of course, for everybody who'd like to really learn how to trade commodities with the Gold and Silver Club, you can find out more about our courses that are available at our training centers and online. So we have a number of courses coming up this year. So you can request information at the Gold and Silver Club live trading room and coaching programs. Just go to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com, or you can contact us on one of our international offices here. So you can contact us on any of the following numbers: our Hong Kong office, the Budapest office, our Johannesburg office, our New York office, or our London office. So all contact numbers, I'll leave them on the screen there for you guys. And finally, of course, do make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. Take advantage of that. You get the free weekly updates on precious metals, on energies, on agriculture, and you'll get live market analysis and updates on current prices. So make sure you take advantage of that too. And yeah, hi there to Eric as well. Good to see you on here. So with that, guys, have a great week's trading. Have a good weekend. We look forward to see you back here on the next one, same time next week. And if you'd like any more information, do get in touch with us on the numbers on the screen. And thanks again to the team at FX Street for putting on today's webinar. Okay, take care, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.